Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is Columbus Day, October the 12th, 2020. Strong hand. This is where the big boys play. This is not a stay safe zone. Buying over crying. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. Strong hand, as I said before, buy and hold. I'm offended by selling. Okay, we're going to talk about selling. I'm offended by it, of course. Hello, my elite friends. Are some of you off of work today? Probably. Check out Fridays this week in Bitcoin show. We had Brandon Quinton on, John Vallis, Phil Geiger. We're going to go over some of the new sayings that we came up on that show. Wow, it was a great time. Follow me on Twitter at TechBalt, TechBalt. If you have questions, I have answers. Type in BitcoinMeister in the super chat. Get my attention. Or do the super chat. Or type in BitcoinMeister. I just get my attention if you have questions. I have answers if you've got some questions. Also, last Wednesday, we had a life hack show. Saturday, I had a job show. Yesterday was Beyond Bitcoin. I mean, there's all sorts of different types of shows you get here. It's a unique beast type of channel. It's Bitcoiner insider information. Anything, you get it here. It's different. It's unique beast. That's what this is about. That's what my shows are about, how to be a unique beast. So check out the archives below. And we'll have more. We're getting into more unique beast type of shows in the future. Different themes, different titles. All right. Now, different series is what I should be saying. So on the This Week in Bitcoin show, we talked about how altcoins can be a shield for Bitcoin. And also a quote, everybody buys in at the price they deserve. Everybody buys in at the price. Think about that and watch the This Week in Bitcoin show. A really good combination. It's getting a lot of good reviews from the commenters. So check it out. So yeah, happy Bitcoin Columbus Day. The European discovery of the Americas changed the world, okay? And it brought about incredible progress, innovation, building, very, very positive. Here in America, we wouldn't be here. I mean, things would be a lot different if everybody just tried to, stay at home. If the mentality of Columbus was to stay at home, that's and stay safe. That's the way of the world today. Imagine. So today we celebrate not staying safe and not staying at home. Okay. And if you're in the Bitcoin overlay, you can truly be open about the way you express your feelings about Columbus Day, because it's kind of taboo today to say that Columbus that you to even call it Columbus Day. And this is the official name of the day, and it's about discovery. And I love discovery, and I love innovation, and I love not staying home. I love not staying safe. And Bitcoin is not a stay safe zone. So discovery is awesome. Being in motion is awesome. And guilt is paralyzing. Pound that like button. Nothing to be guilty about. Okay, and pride is awesome, dude. So here is a guy with a different take. He's got an article. It's called A Different Take About MicroStrategy Getting into Bitcoin. These are deceptively using Bitcoin hype to grow their own market share. So you're, these Wall Street, it's not good. They're just using Bitcoin. These MicroStrategies just using Bitcoin here. Okay. So, and this guy's a fan of Bitcoin. So I'm going to read you what he said, and I'm going to show you why what he says is actually awesome for Bitcoin. And maybe you'll be able to figure it out by the end here. And I see a lot of people are you chatting over there. Very good. Remember to retweet this. I just put that out there for you live chatters. There's a lot of people going wild over there. I'm glad to see that. So here's what the guy said. MicroStrategy has seen falling revenues for almost a decade now, mainly because they're declining demand. Their recent $425 million investment into Bitcoin is nothing more than a way to make headlines and generate more hype around their falling stock prices. And it worked. And I agree, it did work. MicroStrategy stock has risen almost 40% since they first announced they got into Bitcoin. This covers their entire investment and is what the owners were truly after. Genius, if you ask me, but not bullish for Bitcoin, like many crypto influencers are saying. Dude, you need some perspective here. In 2015, if you mentioned Bitcoin, it would make you sound like a criminal. No one would want to be involved with a criminal enterprise like Bitcoin. Now, as you point out, big publicly traded corporations are trying to save themselves by living off of Bitcoin's hype, by living off of Bitcoin's glory. This is incredibly bullish, okay? Compared to 5 years ago, put it in perspective. Let them use Bitcoin, okay? Sure, it doesn't hurt Bitcoin. They're helping me. I'm a holder. Let them take advantage, quote unquote, of Bitcoin. Go ahead. Say whatever you want to say. If you really bought it, if you've got some failing corporation with a failing business plan and you can just buy a bunch of Bitcoin and save your business, I mean, that is awesome. That is so bullish for Bitcoin. It just shows a total attitude change in the corporate world, in the mainstream world. Not that we need that, but it just, I mean, put it in 2015, it was criminal. It was criminal to buy Bitcoin, okay? The worst criminals of the world. So pound that like when, dude, you tried to put a negative spin on it, and I just spun it out of control in a unique beast way back to the positive side of things. Because, baby, I live on the positive side of the world. All right. Now, let's see what we have. I see, again, people, Bitcoin, no, okay, there's just people are screaming in the chat. That's great. All right, there are no questions, so I will, someone said, Happy Thanksgiving, and I know what they're talking about. Is Thanksgiving in Canada, and that's what Tabal is celebrating. So yeah, Happy Thanksgiving to the Canadians. I don't exactly know if you have a big turkey that day. I hope you're having, hope it's not too cold. We had a cold day here in Salt Lake City yesterday, the first cold day. But I persevered, and today's warmer, and I'm going to do my sprints after this show because it's sprint day. Okay. Now, I want to remind everyone, all the 5-digit round fiat freaks out there who were wondering, they were wondering, what did the closing streak, was it broken? Did Bitcoin establish a new streak of closing the day over in the 5-digit realm? And yes, I did my own research. There was no article confirming it. I went to the CoinMarketCap listing, and since July 27th, they list the closing of Bitcoin every single day. Bitcoin has closed over $10,000. Okay, so in the 5-digit realm, great. There's a new streak. We're so used to the freaking 5-digit realm. They don't even, the mainstreamers don't even write articles about it, but I wanted to put it out there. And the official high of the year, closing high for the year for a day, was $12,200. So keep that in mind, because soon we're one day closer to that being broken. Now, the future is bright. Now, Robinhood users say funds were ripped off, but there was no one to call. Oh, so yes, Robinhood, where people buy stocks or sort of buy crypto, I guess, it's centralized. If something goes wrong, you've trusted Robinhood. You've put all your trust in Robinhood, and apparently something went wrong. Robinhood accounts looted, and there was no customer service to call. So that's what happens when you trust a third party. I mean, you have one bad thing go wrong, and you lose everything, and then you're begging for customer service. There is no customer service in Bitcoin. Get out of that customer service mentality. If you want to play with the big boys, then you got to be out. You can't. You got to be out of the customer service mentality. If you make a mistake in Bitcoin, it's on you. It wasn't some centralized third party that messed up. It was you, unless you gave your Bitcoin to a centralized third party, and you can do that if you want to. I think it's totally silly and ridiculous, but plenty of people do that in Bitcoin. But a reminder out there, people are screaming, we have horrible customer service in Robinhood. Yeah, that the fact that you even need it says a lot about the situation. So, okay, here's a question. Roman Q says, store of value, medium of exchange, savior of corporations with failed business plans. New Bitcoin use case emerges every year. Oh yeah, not just every year, man, all the time. I mean, if you're creative, you can come up with a use case every day that goes by. And Vention says he loves the price increase. The more, the better. I have to cash in 1 or 2 for my next surgery. Now, again, Vention, I'm not offended when Vention sells because he's literally saving his life when he cashes in his Bitcoin. And we're going to talk about life insurance at the end of the show. BitcoinMeister talks about Bitcoin, a proposed Bitcoin life insurance policy. But it's pretty simple. You can make Bitcoin your freaking life insurance policy by just saving it, and then when you need it to save your life, it's your life insurance. He's pretty hardcore about that Vention, and we know he is hardcore, and he is going 100%. Saving his life. So yeah, I am not offended by him selling his Bitcoin there. It's totally permissible. Okay, now Peter Schiff, let's talk about him. He was on Laveria's show the other day, and he's being ripped on because he admitted that he makes more money off of providing his services, his middlemen services of managing funds than he does off of gold. Okay. I mean, it's a legitimate business model there. People, they want to diversify into stocks and all this ridiculous stuff. They don't know enough about it, so they pay Peter Schiff they think he knows more than they do. He's providing a service, a legitimate service that people want. Why even get into that realm is beyond my comprehension at this point. Well, no, it's not beyond my comprehension. If you know Bitcoin, why you would get into it is silly. But many people do not know Bitcoin, and are used to traditional money managers and such. But he's not a rent seeker here. He gets accused of being a rent seeker. And we have to really understand what the word rent seeker is. Rent seeker is not just a middleman, okay? Rent seeker is not, a middleman can be a rent seeker, okay? But a guy providing middleman services is not a rent seeker necessarily. And so it's totally voluntary. The people that do business that use him as a middleman, it's voluntary. He doesn't force anyone. The government does not force anyone to use Peter Schiff as a middleman, okay, as a fund manager. And even in the Bitcoin space, we have plenty of businesses that have started as middlemen. And in crypto, there's all these funds, these crypto funds. They manage your altcoins for you, okay? No one's forcing you into that. They're not rent seeking. Now, they add value to people. People think they add value. They feel more comfortable if someone else is managing for them. Now, so the tweet in question here is, maybe Peter isn't so mad about gold versus Bitcoin, but rather the fact that Bitcoin gets rid of middlemen rent-seeking and thus 90% of his income. It can get rid of middlemen, but he might be angry about that. He might be unhappy that a lot of people are going to say, hey, I can just manage my own wealth. I'm going to put it into Bitcoin. I don't need a man like Peter Schiff to manage my wealth anymore, okay? But he was providing a service. He wasn't rent seeking there, okay? He did not get any government favors, okay, to become what he was, okay? Bitcoin banks are going to thrive in the Bitcoin space, all right? So that's a middleman right there. But are they rent-seeking? Are people going to be forced to put their Bitcoin into banks? Now, some of these Bitcoin banks that exist, they might lobby the government to say, you know what? It should be illegal for people to keep their own Bitcoin. Everyone should be forced to put their Bitcoin into Bitcoin banks. Now, if that happens, that's rent-seeking right there, okay? That's when you get a favor from, when you bribe the government, when you use force to create a situation in which you benefit from, okay? Not from people voluntarily doing it. When people are forced to use your product, to engage with you because of government regulation, because of government force, okay? Because you're in bed with the government. So Peter Schiff, of all people, okay, of all people, it doesn't ask the government for favors. Okay, you all know how his father passed away at the hands of the United States government. Basically, they kept him chained to a bed when he was an old man dying, and he was still a prisoner of the United States government for tax related issues. So no, Peter Schiff is not a guy who is a middleman that thrives off of government enforced privileges. Okay, so just wanted to put that out there. You might not like Peter Schiff, but you got to get a better grasp. You know, this rent seeking thing. It's a buzzword, a negative buzzword that people try to tag their enemies with, or tag people they don't like in the space with. There is nothing. I mean, there's nothing morally wrong with being a middleman, providing a service where people voluntarily use your service. Okay, they could do it better themselves. They really could. They could, but I mean that's their choice. Okay, they're not being forced. The government, and again, we can mention plenty of times when now the government is forcing you to use a middleman. It's forcing you to use a certain insurance company for health. I mean, okay. That's when rent seeking is involved. So and the whole term itself, I mean, you can look up that it has the word rent in it. It throws people off also. Okay, now, so let's talk about and obviously any government intervention like that totally stifles innovation. And we have an example of where someone at Cointelegraph wants that I guess has a stay safe mentality and was offended that John McAfee, was a tax evader. Here's the article. Better regulation needed to stop crypto tax evaders from running wild. Okay, so because an insane guy used cryptocurrency to evade taxes or was involved in a cryptocurrency tax evasion scheme, we need better regulations. We need to stifle innovation. It totally is backward. It's a CUCK type of attitude. It's just shows you how so far that the safe mentality can rear its ugly head in this beautiful golden age industry that we're in, and people can cry for the government even in Bitcoin, and so yeah, that's a legitimate article there over at Cointelegraph apparently. Now Michael Saylor has a great so on a scale, what's that, a 2? Is that a 2 on the 20%er scale? Because it's totally begging to be an 80%er and like have someone else take care of you. That it's even considered legitimate is disgraceful. But hey, it's a 2. It's a 2 on the scale of 1 to 10. It's not very 20%er at all. Okay, I see there's more going on here. So before we get to Michael Saylor, I just want to make sure. No, okay, just guys talking. Oh no, Moon's here is. Hang on, Roman Q said okay. Moonshine Fuel. Do you know any exchange you can buy Bitcoin on that doesn't require a 2-factor cell phone? I am old school landline and used to the ViroWalks, but they shut down. What you can do, no, I don't, but just set up a Google number, set up a free Google phone number, and then make it and that's how you do 2-factor authentication with one of these. There's plenty of quote unquote shady exchanges out there. That's all they require is you give them some phone number and just give them a free Google phone number, Google Voice, whatever it's called. What is it called here? Yeah, but Google Voice. Just get a free Google Voice number. Okay, so that's my association. Brian Jacotot, who will appear on the show possibly this week, because I love this commentary so much. I just invited him on the show for This Week in Bitcoin on Friday. So we're going to work on that. I'll contact you within 24 hours, dude. But he says, McAfee committed independent crimes. I'll never understand why people insist that in order to properly prosecute McAfee, they need to make use of a Bitcoin crypto independently illegal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he did something. So why is more regulation needed in cryptocurrency? Because of some insane choice that John McAfee made. Okay, it's a naked power grab couched in virtue signaling language, just like the virus nonsense. Yeah, but this is a writer writing this stuff. I mean, he's why would he want the? I mean, he's just ignorant that this would just be a power grab for the government. But hey, there are a lot of confused people out there, to say the least. Okay, and thank you, UK BitcoinMeister, for retweeting this. Let us get back to the Michael Saylor, Bitcoin Noah. And it's funny, I call him Bitcoin Noah because he came up with the idea that Bitcoin is an ark to save people. But the funny thing is, I mean, he's a sailor. I mean, his last name is Sailor. I know it's spelled differently. So Noah was a sailor too. So it's if you want to pick a biblical character for him, Noah would be good. All right. Now I don't know if Sailor is he the same religion that I am? Because Noah was not. Noah came before my religion. But all right, we're not going to get into biblical discussions. This is not Adam Meister Bible study here. Pound that like button. Oh, the Old Testament, and then they had the fork off of the Old Testament called the New Testament. Okay. Now, let's one religion forked off of another religion. Now, if your investment time horizon is 1 year, anything might work. If your investment time horizon is 1 century, one thing might work. And that is Bitcoin. And that is a Michael Saylor tweet. I like that one there. 1 century strong hand, life extension technology. And I am soon on one of my shows, hopefully, going to talk about how the pharmaceutical industry, if there was no regulation in the United States, I mean, we could be living to be 150. Yaron Brook mentioned this on his show. And the pharmaceutical industry is vilified way too much, way too much. Is it perfect? No. Do they play the game of begging the government for certain privileges? Yeah, they do. I mean, because that's the way it has. They've been forced into that corner in certain aspects. What's the word? Lobbying. They have lobbyists and stuff. But we'll talk about that in another show. Okay. But so if we're on this hoarding mentality type of discussion here, because if you're going to keep Bitcoin for 100 years, that's hoarding. There's nothing wrong with hoarding. Go link to below, June 25th, 2016, flashback tweet of mine. It's a little, 30-second clip of me from 2016. Hoard Bitcoin for 2020. It will be worth more, and don't trade it. Strong hand, conviction. So retweet that one also. It's linked to below. So there are so many people that have an obsession with selling. Okay, they're in the selling mentality. If they get into Bitcoin, they just want to know when to sell it. The only reason they got into Bitcoin was so they could sell it one day. They are fiat freaks. They value their wealth in dollars. And I met some people at Shul that were asking me about this in the chat yesterday. Someone said, Adam, didn't you say in 2020 you were going to sell your Bitcoin? And people get so confused about that. They can't wrap their head around the concept of when I say, hold on at least until 2024. I'm not saying once it turns 2024, once we enter 2024 halving, liquidate everything, or I'm going to. It's a goal to get people in mind. It's so many people are not long-term thinkers. You need to give them a long-term time horizon, and that's what it was. When I originally said, buy and hold Bitcoin 2020, the people would always ask, when can you sell? When can you sell? And I said the earliest possible time I would sell any would be after the Bitcoin halving in 2020. That wasn't me saying I'm going to sell all my Bitcoin in 2020. But so many people are stuck in that mentality. They can't understand that's what it doesn't mean. They think that they want someone to tell them when they have to sell all their Bitcoin, because they're not into, they have no long-term thinking. They have no, they don't know what savings is. They don't know what wealth building is. They live for the day, and they just don't get it. They're like, well, it's 2020. Haven't you sold? No, I haven't sold. And they don't have listening comprehension either. When I've said so many times, I have never sold a Bitcoin for fiat. So there's the answer to your question. For the people who, it's unbelievable when people sell the coin. Did you sell your Bitcoin? No, I've never sold any of it for fiat. Come on, dudes. But it's just, people are naturally inclined. It seems like they're just, I guess, raised by the mainstream media. What they've taken in over the years is that if you're involved in an investment, your main concern is when to sell. And it's just, I don't know. It's very, very interesting that people can't. I mean, I just don't live. It's not just a saying for me. Buy and hold. Okay. Buy and hold is not just, it's a lifestyle, okay? You hold it. People don't know what hold means, it seems like, or value your wealth in Bitcoin means. And that, certain people have principles and conviction, okay? What that is all about, make your own thing. When to sell, never sell, okay? There you go. Build your wealth. There's so much can change over time. I've also said this, that we will get to a point where you can use your Bitcoin to buy all sorts of nice things, and the tax implications will be totally different by then. But people are impatient. Why didn't you sell when it was 20K? That's a question that I get so much. Like, you'd be happier if you would have sold when it was a 20K. They don't even understand what the tax implications that are involved with that, or the fact that we're one day closer to an all-time high, and that it's literally, you have no long-term thinking. If you're like, oh, we reached that all-time high, I should have sold at that all-time high because we're never going to get back to another. No, of course, we're one day closer. People just think some people just don't grasp what that means, one day closer to an all-time high. But it's the selling mentality out there, even of people that get into this space. It's dominant, man. It is so dominant. And that is, I have just built my lifestyle in a way where I am so far away from that now. And I hope others of you can grasp that feeling also, can be in that, can get away from that. Just selling is the ultimate. Get out of that paradigm that selling is your goal. Selling is your goal. Get out of that. Productivity, innovation is your goal. Healthy lifestyle is your goal. Okay. And again, it's systems over goals anyway. Have a system. Buy and hold is a system. Selling is a goal. You see what's better there? Buy and hold. Okay. Worry about selling if you get into intervention situation. Okay. That's when you got to worry about it, I guess. All right. Now, the Roman Q says, BitcoinMeister stacked a couple more back in March. I sure did, when the weak hands panicked and people asked if you are selling post 2020 halving. Indeed, Roman Q, that's so good. Well, but there's no comprehension. There's like, they're asking Adam, when are you selling? Yet Adam is screaming like day after day after day. I repeat how I bought 2 more freaking Bitcoin on around March the 12th. Okay, and they're like, when are you selling? All right, now. I'm just seeing if any other. Rocky says, shut up, Adam. Let them sell. I'm still buying. Down that like button. Excellent point there. Excellent point there, Rocky. A great guest who's been on the show numerous times out of beautiful Southern California. Now, we'll leave it with BitcoinMeister here. And I don't, people who are outside of the Bitcoin realm, of course they're in the selling mentality. And of course, when they get into Bitcoin, they're still there. But if you've been around this thing for a while, which, people in these chats and comment section have been, I don't know what to say at that you're still an 80% land. Now, BitcoinMeister says BitcoinMeister, they don't know about long-term capital gains. They don't know short-term, long-term. BitcoinMeister says Bitcoin-based life insurance. I'm not working on Bitcoin-based life insurance, but I'm excitedly anticipating it. I think it's inevitable and will herald a new economic era where the emphasis shifts from borrowing to saving. I hope holders keep me in the loop if they're working on something. So he is not working on it, but in the tweet thread, he explains how it could work. So he is giving an idea out there. On my shows, I gave jobs ideas. He's giving a whole Bitcoin industry idea and jobs ideas. So be in motion. Read it. He's giving it out there for free. Good job for BitcoinMeister. A smart guy in the space. If you want to read about possible life insurance industry built around Bitcoin, he has a thread about it. And Cass says, will you ever sell a single Bitcoin as long as you have enough fiat to pay for your Airbnbs? No, of course not. Of course not. Plane tickets and food. No, I will not. As long as I have enough cash to live off the lifestyle that I'm living, going from Airbnb to air and plane tickets and whatever the heck, food, dumpster diving, whatever. No, I will. And yes, dudes, here's a little something for the people who stuck around this show. I am a millionaire who dumpster dives sometimes. I've gotten free food before. I am literally a guy who's a millionaire who goes into dumpsters and gets free food. I've done that before. And I'm proud of it. I'm a freaking unique beast. Pound that like button. And I sometimes wonder if anyone else that's a millionaire does that. And it's funny, and people think you're sometimes in the middle of my runs, I'm really disgusting looking, and I'll just go, I'll see a dumpster at the food store, and you can see a freaking apples and onions and stuff, and I go lean in there, and I wonder who they think I am, and it's just so funny. All right, pound that like button. I'm Adam Meister, BitcoinMeister, subscribe to this channel, and retweet everything, and you got a little bonus there at the end, because most people don't even pay attention to the word I'm saying in this show, so I can say funny things like that at the end that are true. All right, see ya.